So what do you do when you have a local court judgment, but the person who owes you money is located in another state? My name is Andrew Ayers. I'm a business law and estate planning attorney based in Edina, Minnesota, with an office in Brooklyn, New York. I'm going to talk to you today about what happens to your local court judgment when the person who owes you money is in another state. Now, when we used to counsel small businesses, it was often the case that they had customers located locally to them, maybe in their city or in their state. But these days, with the rise of online sales and marketing, you'll find that a lot of your customers and clients may be located all around the country, if not all around the world. The question I'm often confronted with by my clients is, what do I do when the person who owes me money is located in another state? Now, the first place we want to start is actually look at your contracts that you have with your clients and your customers. One provision you want to look at is what's called the jurisdiction provision. The jurisdiction provision says if there's any dispute about this contract, where any disputes have to be heard. What court do you have to go to? Hopefully your contract says that you're going to use the local court that's nearby your business so that you're not forced to bring a lawsuit halfway across the country against a customer. Another clause you want to look at is whether or not you have a mediation clause. Many contracts these days have a clause that will say that before you can file a lawsuit, you need to mediate your dispute first. At the end of that mediation, if one of the parties is not happy with the outcome, they could then bring a lawsuit to either confirm or deny the mediation decision. And the final, and probably very important for this topic today, is whether or not your contract has a clause for attorney's fees. You can put in your contract that if you have to collect on outstanding sums due under a contract, that you're entitled to have your lawyer fees paid by the other party. You should know that if that clause is not in your contract and you sue and go to court, chances are that the judge will not permit you to collect your attorney's fees or your lawyer fees from the other party, even if you win that lawsuit. Now that we've seen your contracts, the next question we need to ask is, what type of judgment do you have? There are two main types of judgments that you will encounter. The first one is the traditional one you will see on TV, where you've had a full lawsuit, you've done discovery, you've had motions, you've had conferences, and maybe there was a trial at the end. And your trial could be in front of a judge, it could be in front of a jury, and at the end of that, there's a decision rendered that says you're owed X amount of dollars, you're owed a certain amount of money from the other party. The second type of judgment that is frankly much more common these days is a default judgment. Let's say that even though your contract says that the dispute has to be heard in your local court, the other party doesn't bother to respond to the lawsuit, they don't participate, and in the end you get a default judgment against them for the amount that you asked for in your papers. That's good for you, however, it can end up being a bit of a challenge. So once we have a judgment from a court, and we know that the other party is in a different state, what I'm often confronted with from clients or out-of-state prospective clients who are looking to enforce their judgment in a state where I practice law is, what do you do next? Depending upon the state you're in, the most common procedure is to take that judgment and register it with your local court. What that does is that then converts that judgment from a foreign state judgment, another state where you're located, into the court where your customer is located. What that allows you to do is you can use the local procedures, the local court, the local recording office to collect your judgment. This is especially important if your customer or client has real estate in the state where they're living and where you need to collect. The local court would be able to allow you to take a lien against the property or some other debt collection strategies and remedies that only a local court judgment can use, whereas your out-of-state judgment cannot allow it. Now, the biggest caveat to this entire procedure is if you have a default judgment. If you have a default judgment, most states will not allow you to simply register your judgment and then begin collecting on it. Actually, what they usually have you do is take that judgment and bring it to the court and then start a brand new lawsuit in the local court in that state, in which you essentially have converted the judgment into an obligation to pay but there's still a secondary lawsuit where you have to go through all of the motions, go through possibly the discovery, and hopefully now, but possibly a trial. The thinking is that the default judgment was not participated in by your client or customer. They may claim they didn't have notice of it. However, in the local court, with the local court procedures, you can get them into the courthouse, you can get them in front of that judge, and that will get you around the default provision. However, of course, the big problem is you have to go through an entirely second lawsuit. And if you've paid a lot of money for that first lawsuit, resulting in a default judgment, you're going to be very upset about what you consider to be duplicative fees to an attorney, which is why we go back to the idea of when you have your contracts put together, you want to make sure there's a provision that says the winning party is entitled to attorney's fees, especially if you end up with a default judgment that then gets taken to another state. Those fees can really rack up, and you will really be happy you had that provision in your contract. So if you're confronted with, you have a judgment against a customer or client in another state, it's important that you talk to an attorney in that state where they're located and see what remedies are available to you.